And actually, I think I'll have some big news regarding that. And yes, so a lot of people have seen the LeoAds pool getting chunkier as every day passes, thanks to you, because you're doing a lot of traffic. You're bringing a lot of traffic to the interface. So we're going to speak a little bit about that. But in the meantime, we just broke the record of Lions powering up. Power up means stake for those who don't know. And usually we power up at least around 200 people, like 200 lions gather every 15 of the month, and they say, hey, I want to signal bullishness, I want to signal long-term commitment to the platform, to the token, to the community. And so I'm just going to power up some Leo, the native token of the INLEO platform, just so that the community knows where I stand. And usually it's like 200, 205, and 995, something like that. But this time we were 261 lions. So that's what, like a 30% increase? Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good at math, but something like that. So this is extremely, I don't want to say bullish, because then that could be taken as financial advice, and this is not financial advice, but it's incredible to see how many people said, you know what, I want to end the year with a banger. I want to signal 2024 positive, positivity. So I'm going to power up. So that was 261 lions. And we powered up around 180,000 Leo. I'm actually pulling some data right now from 2023. And I think there was no single month in 2023 that we powered down more than powered up. We had positive months every single month of the year. So I'll have more news on that probably in like an hour or two, and maybe we'll make a post about it. But yeah, this is extremely positive for the INLEO space. But Cal, what's the word on the street? Where are like, I know that you just released a new update to the threadcasts around 4 days ago, something like that, where people can actually just go to the interface, and if there's a live threadcast going on with enough activity, then users will be able to see a little widget or a little profile picture of the threadcast at the top of the UI. So they know, oh, this guy is making a threadcast. I'm going to go check it out. So right now we've had like 3, 4, maybe 5 at the same time. But imagine when we have 20, 30 threadcasts going on at the same time. This is going to get crazy. But we already have the discovery tool to actually know what threadcasts are live when we are browsing in Leo.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just been getting all these streams up, but the new Threadcast feature is live, and I think it's super cool. I think it's added a lot of, just visually speaking, and I know a lot of you guys agree with this. It's added a lot of like flavor to the UI. Seeing these Threadcasts live and seeing those kind of like bubble icons around people's usernames when they're in the threadcast, I think adds a lot of dynamic to the interface on its own. And then obviously the utility of being able to see which threadcasts are live, when they're live and when they're active, and also who's active in them, I think is really valuable. So that was a really big update on the front end side and on the back end. But in terms of the front end, it was a lot of work, and it's because it goes into so many different levels of the UI. So, obviously you get that on the front page, you get the bubble at the top where you can see the live threadcast, but then you also get, anytime someone engages, any user that engages in that threadcast then gets a bubble on their icon throughout the entire UI. So it's a pretty big update that we rolled out. I've already gotten a lot of usage out of it. I didn't realize, actually how many threadcasts there were on a daily basis. There are still, we're obviously tiny and I want to see this grow, but there are, a handful of threadcasts every single day for various things. And prior to this feature going live, I would miss a good majority of those threadcasts. But I'd say nowadays I've been in most threadcasts for, at least some period of time, and I've gone through and upvoted a bunch of people. So I've already found a lot of utility out of that feature. I'm curious if you guys want to type in the threadcast here and let us know if you've gotten utility out of it also. I think it's one of the biggest features we've released in terms of content discovery. And that is going to be a big theme in the early part of 2024, which is just improving content discovery on all levels, whether it's long form or short form. One of the updates we're actually working on right now, the dev just sent it to me this morning, is a recommended feed at the end of every long form post. And it will recommend other threads and posts that are mentioned or have some similar mention in that long form post. And we're using our own search engine. So Leo has its own search engine. As most of you guys know, if you've ever searched for any like keywords, like if you go and you search for like Thorchain, it'll show you all the threads that have ever been created that mention Thorchain. So we're using that engine for this recommended feed. And we're going to start it off on long form actually this time, which is, different than usual. I think you guys mostly know that we usually start it with short form stuff these days, but I wanted to put it on long form first and get some good testing done. So we're doing long form first. When you get to the bottom of a post, it'll recommend other posts and threads that are mentioning similar topics. And then you've probably seen on X, they recently added recommended tweets when you scroll to the bottom of a tweet. So like if you're reading a tweet about Thorchain and you scroll to the bottom, beneath the comment section of the tweet you're in, it'll start recommending other tweets that are similar in nature to the one you clicked on. So we're going to add that to threads also after we do some testing on the long form side. So yeah, just a lot of stuff to just improve content discovery in general, both for short and long form engagement. And Taskmaster and I had a few threads going back and forth yesterday, but engagement is everything. And especially now that we've got LeoAds, which will be my segue into that topic. Engagement really is everything on the platform, and we need more engagement, both in terms of creating high quality, top level content in terms of posts and threads, but also in terms of actual comments and replies and threadcast comments and all that stuff. So engagement really is the key to everything. And with LeoAds, so the weekly buybacks have been happening. You guys have seen them. They are randomized. So they happen roughly every Monday. Sometimes they'll bleed into Tuesday. It's just on like a 36-hour randomizer contract so that nobody knows, not even I know, when it's actually buying the Leo. It prevents people from front running the bot that buys Leo in the various pools. So you guys have seen that account filling up. I think it's at like 34,000 Leo or something like that. And that is essentially the first month of buys. And now I think it's getting into like this week, I think it will be like a little bit over a month. But the first month of Leo ad distributions will probably be sent out either today or tomorrow. So it took us a little while to fix a few things on the contract. And then I also wanted some SQL data to kind of cross-reference. So I've been waiting on that stuff. And then now we got everything we need. So yeah, I think either today or tomorrow, the first Leo ads distribution will go out. There's a few interesting things in there, and we'll write a post and kind of talk about it. But the vast majority of the Leo that goes out is to active Leo Power curators. So people who are upvoting threads and upvoting blog posts actively are the ones that are eligible for the distributions from the Leo Ads smart contract. And then so to be eligible is like step one. And then step two is it takes the amount of Leo power you have, and that's how much Leo you get. So, you obviously you have to be eligible first. And then once you're eligible, then it's based on, it's stake based. So the more stake you have, the more Leo you get from the monthly Leo ads pool. So this is like a whole new rewards pool for Leo. I'm excited to kind of see it take shape. And obviously this is just month one. And then another interesting piece to that, and I'm sure Eric and I will talk about it a little bit because I've wanted to kind of hammer this point home to the community, is the evergreen pool. So The evergreen pool is obviously a part of the distribution. So the top authors on the platform get a percentage of that total ad revenue pool. And it's based on, so it's like for the stake weighted part of it, when it's based on your Leo Power stake, you step one have to be eligible. So you have to be an active curator. And then step two, it's based on how much stake you have. For the evergreen pool, it's very similar where step one, you have to be eligible, which to be eligible means that you have a certain minimum bar of views, impressions, if you want to use the same terminology that X uses. You have to have a minimum bar of those impressions. And then once you're above that bar, then you're eligible for the evergreen pool. So that's step one. Step two of the evergreen pool is based on how many views you get. So you can kind of look at the two distributions as being kind of similar in that way of having, two steps that are very similar, but one is obviously stake based and one is impressions based. Right now, the impressions are only counting long form. It doesn't count short form. I do think that an argument can be made, and I think that this will probably happen, that we'll make some updates to the smart contract where it will also take into account your threads impressions. So it will just take the total impressions of your account as opposed to just the long form impressions. Obviously, when we started building this contract, it was like, I don't even know, like a year and a half ago. So things were a lot different around here a year and a half ago. And nowadays we've got threads kind of taking the front seat. So things will probably change on that front, and it'll just be total impressions. We're working on a user dashboard where you'll be able to track your impressions. You'll be able to track your long form and your short form content and which ones are getting the most impressions. So you can kind of gamify it and look for ways to improve your account and the impressions that are available to earn from the evergreen rewards. So that's all I got, I think, on the LeoAds stuff. So look out for a post probably in the next 24 hours talking about this stuff, and then the distribution will obviously coincide with it.
Yeah, one of the thing that I like the most about this is that in different platforms you need to be one of the traffic drivers to earn from ad revenue. But in Leo, you can either say, okay, maybe I'm not a content creator, maybe I'm not someone who attracts the masses, but I can still get a chunk of that ad revenue by staking some Leo in my wallet and say, okay, yeah, maybe I don't bring in the people, but I support the platform in other ways, and I do get a chunk of that revenue. And I do have a question from Alvarez. I think so he hey, I'm pleased to read the announcement about the latest output. Where can we see the total stats for these events? So we basically post them under the @LeoGrowth account. We will probably have something in the future where people can just go see the stats about INLEO, the token, how much Leo Power has been powered up in the ecosystem, how much has been powered down, the market, etc. But in the meantime, because this is obviously something that needs to be built in the backend, you can just go to @LeoGrowth and check it out. And I do found another question, but you guys are typing too fast in the threadcast. But yeah, I think I lost it. But yeah, basically just, oh yeah, here it is. Taskmaster asks, what about accounts that delegate Leo Power to other accounts and being active? So I think that he's referring to, let's say I have 100,000 Leo Power and I delegate that. Will I still be receiving any kind of ad revenue? And I think the answer is yes. The smart contract and our algorithm takes into account how much Leo Power you have. It doesn't matter if you have it delegated. If you're receiving 1 million Leo Power, but you only own 10,000, you will receive the amount of ad revenue. What's the word? According to your real Leo Power, not the delegated amounts. So you can still go out, delegate to someone else, but you also need to do some activity, to have some activities, because if you're not active with the account that will receive the ad revenue share, you will not be taking into account, because we want to reward those who are active in the UI.
Yeah, so with the way the distributions work, it's step one, your account has to be active. So just consider that the script basically looks at your account activity as a curator. So are you upvoting threads? Are you upvoting posts? And it's not like an obscene amount of activity. I mean, it's like you could probably be active enough in 5 minutes or less to be eligible. So that's step one. And then step two is it takes your total Leo power into account. So Eric kind of used the term real Leo power, which I think would be a good term for it. It's the total amount of Leo power in your account, regardless of who's delegating into you or who you're delegating out to. Because when you're delegating out, you are letting someone borrow your Leo power essentially, but you still own it. So when you look at your account value, it still considers that delegated Leo to be yours because it is. And then vice versa, when you are being delegated Leo power, it's not really yours. You have the power to upvote with it, but it's not your stake. So the person who's delegating the Leo power out is the one who's receiving the Leo rewards based on the ad revenue, taking into account their total actual Leo power that they hold. So, one interesting thing about that, and I'm not sure if, whoever was asking this was thinking about this, but if you have, like, I know I've seen some people who have, for example, like they have an account where they hold all the Leo and then they delegate 100% of it to another account that they use to curate. And the only thing related to that, I would say, is the account that's delegating out still has to have some minimum bar of activity, even though you're curating with the other account. So it is using it's using the real Leo power stakeholders activity as a metric. And there's just that's kind of an edge case. I would bet that there's less than 5 people that actually have some sort of setup with their Leo power where 100% of it's delegated to another account and they're basically inactive on the account that actually holds the Leo. I think that's just like a super edge case. So the way around that is just make sure that you on the account that you're delegating out from, have it do some level of curation each month. And like I said, I mean, it's like not a lot. I mean, you could vote a couple of things and you'll be fine. But it takes into account your actual Leo power. So just keep that in mind. If you're delegating out or receiving delegations, it's your real Leo power, not delegations that are included there.
Yeah, and I mean the way that we are the direction where we're heading is that you probably want your Leo power in your main account, because at one point the Leo rewards are going to like, because a lot of people just use a side account for their Leo and their main account for the high power, but at one point you're gonna say, dude, I just want the max influence I can get from my vote in one single account. And the way that we're moving forward, people are going to want to have that influence in just one account. But I mean, that's just my 2 cents, and that's coming from someone who has like 6 accounts, one for BYB, one for Leo, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna center all that into one account. But yeah, so
the UI has moved to a point where there's when you hover over the rewards, and I know a lot of you probably already know this, but we updated that reward payout module a lot, and when you hover over it, it shows you the breakdown of Leo, Hive, and HBD. So I do think that the UI is moving in a point where it's meant to be in tandem with Hive, not like, here's an L2 and we're not going to focus on the L1 at all, which I think is how our old UI kind of used to handle it. It was more like Hive is in the background and Leo is meant to be kind of front and center. Now it shows you that, obviously, that full dollar display, and that display that you see right away is the total dollar value of all your earnings, Hive and Leo combined. So, and then when you hover it, you obviously see the breakdown. So like Eric said, I think we're kind of moving in a direction where you will not separate your curation activities and such from Hive and Leo. You'll just kind of mix them into the same thing, into the same bucket, and yet you happen to earn 3 different tokens, Hive, HBD, and Leo, but your activities are all the same. And I also think a big change that kind of makes that possible was when we opened up Leo to not just Leo Finance, but to any topic. And if you use the platform in any way, shape, or form, you are eligible to earn Leo. and you don't have to just talk about finance in order to earn Leo. So I think that is kind of that step function change to make it more what's the word, like cohabitable with Hive power. So you don't have to look at your Leo power and your Hive power as two different things. You can look at them as the same thing. And then we also added that voting power display at the bottom left on the UI, or if you're on mobile, you hit the hamburger menu and you'll see it next to your profile. And that shows your Hive power, your Leo power, and your RCs. So I think it's moving in a direction where you'll just kind of look at it as being one. I know that when I curate on all my, and like Eric, I have a lot of different accounts. When I curate on all those accounts, I combine the Hive and the Leo power. So I know that my voting power is roughly the same all the time. I don't really separate them out.
Yeah, Fashtilu is asking. Okay, so guys, just help us here. A little bit of attention. You have your real power, which is the one that you own, either because you earned it or because you bought it in the market. That's your real power. The delegations, either in or out, do not count towards your ad revenue distribution. And I did see another question from Lee Pessian, 100 Dedos. Uh, do you already know on average the total Leo power stack that is actively voting? Actively voting, I don't know, but I do know that we have around 76% of the Leo tokens total supply. Well, circulating supply is in the UI powered up. And I do know that we have more than 1,450 Lions who have at least 100 Leo powered up. So that is a huge number. And out of those, I think, if I remember correctly, it's like 1,211 that are active in the platform. So it's not only that we are 1,600 users, Lions using the interface, we also have almost 80%, 85% of that staked in the platform. So that those people who are using the UI are also staking in the UI. So that's also amazing to see.
Yeah, I did have the data of the actively voting Leo power, but I am gonna have to look for that real quick.
In the meantime, I can check some questions. Sammy Hive, there should be a detailed post about the latest update on LeoAds, its criteria, requirement, and impact. I do think that we're gonna do a post about the LeoAds like the moment they go out, that same day or a day after, we're gonna post something related to the LeoAds. Of course, there's not a set date because, as Carl said, in order to avoid any kind of um, cheating the system, so to speak. Not even the Leo team knows when will the buys will happen, when will the distributions will happen, etc., etc. So,
yeah. So I was talking about that, saying about the distribution. So when the first distribution goes out, within like a half an hour of that, you'll see a post that'll talk about the distribution and how it works. So all the details, all the requirements. I mean, we've posted plenty of blog posts talking about the higher level of how it works. But all the nitty gritty details of like how much minimum Leo power do you need, how much minimum activity do you need, and then obviously the actual distribution numbers and such will all be in that post. So probably within the next 24 hours, when that distribution goes out, like Eric said, I don't even know exactly when it goes out, but I know that it's roughly within the next 24 hours. And then I was just looking at the data. So the active Leo power that's voting on the platform and eligible for the LeoAds distribution, so it considers both of those factors, is 13.6 million Leo power. So that is the currently, actually, I think it's less than that. Hold on. I think I included, yeah, I did. 1 second. updated number. Because it included the Oracle accounts. So I gotta take those out. All right.
In the meantime, the time travelers is asking for the evergreen rewards with the
11.2
impression.
million is the number. So that is the active Leo power that's being used and is eligible for LeoAds distribution. So it's 11.2 million, which is really high. So it goes to show you that the Leo power that's staked is quite active in terms of upvoting.
Self-help for trolls is saying it's 3 a.m. here. I shouldn't be here, but I want to see if I can catch some nice Leo new drops. Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. I have a question from Lince Maram. He's from Brazil. Do you already have plans for the implementation of NFTs mentioned a while ago?
Yeah. So Nifty is kind of the head of NFTs currently, and he has been working on it in the background. So I will wait to announce anything until we are like fully ready. But yeah, we are working on NFTs, and we're doing something a lot different with NFTs compared to, I think how other platforms have kind of done it. We want to have like real use case for these NFTs. So, we don't want to just launch something that's got like some sort of like, sale mint event, and then that's it. Our goal is to launch something that's got real world use, and something that you can feel on a daily basis. So the NFTs that we launch are going to have things like power-ups on the UI. And I actually dropped a message to Eric about this after the Threadcast feature went live, because I was just saying how when you look at this Threadcast feature and it adds, the purple bubble around people's names, it adds kind of like this gamification to the UI. And what I'm excited about is that I think it kind of gives you a little bit of a lens into where Leo's headed in terms of adding these kind of special, unique feeling features. And just imagine that, similar to how that Threadcast bubble shows up when you're active in one. Imagine that you have NFTs and you can power them up for say 24 hours, and you get like a super upvote, and you get like 2 super upvotes per hour or something for 24 hours. Or, you get a similar power up, and then every time you make a blog post, for 24 hours, it shows up at the top of every feed, in all of the different feeds. And you have to have some like legendary NFT in order to do that. Or let's say that you want to, get some credits for the promotion system that we're building, where you can spend Leo to promote your posts. You would have an NFT, like let's say you have an NFT that gives you like it gives you a credit, or it gives you a 25% discount for the next 24 hours or something. So there's a lot of like really cool actual use cases that we can deploy on the UI, where you can like, you'll have a wallet of NFTs, and like, let's say that you've got 20 different Leo NFTs, and some of them might be like common NFTs, so they don't really have power-ups, and you have to like build up your collection. And then eventually you build up your collection, then you get like a legendary NFT where you can get these power-ups on the UI, and they allow you to do special things and basically get more attention and do things that benefit you ultimately. So I think that'll add a lot more fun, variety, and use case in general to NFTs. I don't really think there's another platform out there that does anything like that. So just imagine, something like X. Imagine that they had NFTs and you could use them to, do all sorts of amazing features on the UI that ultimately get you more attention and earn you more rewards. Obviously for them it'd be impression based, and for us, we're kind of headed in that direction as well. So I'm really excited for NFTs. I think it'll be really cool. If you guys saw, some of the artwork and the direction that we're headed with the designs and the back end and all that stuff, it's exciting. But things are really busy right now. I know that it's kind of hard to get this stuff done, especially with some of the people that Nifty's been working with to get things done has been a little bit difficult. So we'll get there though. We will get there, and I'm really excited for it to go live.
Yeah, I'm seeing three questions that go around asking questions about 2024. Guys, we have something amazing prepared for the end of the year. So do not ask us what's in store for 2024. You will know this next week. Next week? Yeah. But be patient. We have a lot of things planned. In the meantime, uh, a blessing is asking. I would like to know if the revenue is only for finance related posts or every post made using the INLEO front end. INLEO is a platform for every kind of content and every type of creator. Yes, the core is the Leo finance community, which is money related topics, but in Leo, the ad revenue, the Leo Power Holdings, the evergreen content, the NFTs, premium, etc. Everything that happens in Leo, the UI is for every type of content creator and topic. So yes, Blessing, you're let's just say you post about pets or food and you get a lot of views, you will still earn a chunk of the evergreen rewards.
Yep. Yeah, I think and I keep saying, the step function change for Leo was when we went from Leo Finance to INLEO. We moved from you have to make crypto and finance content to earn Leo to you just have to use the UI to earn Leo. So I think that's a key distinction. And you can still post. We still allow for now. You can post from other UIs and you can post in the Leo finance community and earn Leo. But really, I think the move toward, in the future is, you have to use the UI to earn Leo. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's not because we are, anti other platforms. And I'm sure it's going to get spun that way when and if these changes take place. It's not because of that in any way, shape, or form. It's because we're building and this will lead me into the docs. We're building a sustainable and thriving creator economy on INLEO. And at the core of that, and we've been talking about LeoAds, is ad revenue and monetizing traffic that comes to Leo. So if we're paying Leo to people who are not using the Leo front end, we're paying people to not generate things that are beneficial for the front end. So if that makes sense, it's the Leo rewards pool is meant to reward people who benefit the Leo ecosystem. That's the whole point of the rewards pool. Even for Hive, that's the whole point of the Hive rewards pool, is to benefit people who bring value to the ecosystem. So, right now, like I said, a small percentage of the Leo rewards pool goes to people who use other front ends and post into the Leo finance community because we need that early. We're still in the early stages of not having a huge user base, and we need the content. But I definitely foresee a point where, as a community, we decide, why are we paying Leo to people who are not on the UI, generating ad revenue, generating premium subscriptions, generating, subscriptions to authors? Why are we paying from our inflationary pool to things that don't benefit Leo as a token and platform? So that's the direction that we're headed with INLEO. And speaking of the thriving creator economy, I've been working on rewriting these docs, and the docs have become infamous in our community because I originally wrote this huge white book, and I still look at this book frequently, by the way, because I just like to have the direction of kind of knowing what the original vision was and how it's kind of shaped up over time. But what I did was I took my favorite parts of it and what I think are the most important things to understand, and I refined them, and then I put them into a new docs website for INLEO, where you can read through them and you can look at the vision. You can look at, what we are today, what we were before, frequently asked questions. You can understand the technology and how everything works, which I think is kind of one of my favorite parts of it. And I also think the vision is really important. You guys already saw the vision statement if you saw my blog post a couple months ago, where I posted, the vision for INLEO after the rebrand. So that is just kind of copy pasted from the docs. But the new doc site is officially live, and I wanted to announce it on our show today. Few disclaimers before we give you the link. It is not completely done. I've been sitting on this for a while. I've been constantly adding pages, deleting pages, refining pages, putting things in, taking things out. I also got some feedback from Eric, Taskmaster, and a few other people on what they liked and didn't like about the docs, and made some changes. But bear all of this in mind, that this is a first draft of the docs. I still consider it to be a first draft. But I do want more feedback. I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready for more feedback from a wider group of people. And also it kind of motivates me to stop, procrastinating the release of them. So go to the docs, look through it, keep a couple things in mind. I'd say the first 80% of the docs are fully complete. And then when you get below that, so like the last couple sections, I'm still kind of adding and removing things from those. So like, for example, there's like 2022 KPI goals for Leo Finance. Obviously, I'm changing that to the 2024 KPI goals. And then there's a couple other pages that I just put a lock icon on that I'm not ready to release yet. So a couple small things that are not fully finished yet. So just I would say, look at the technology section and above. So there's 3 main sections. You'll see it when you get there. Look at the first 80% of the docs. And when you do that, feel free to write threads, write posts, tag me in them, put hashtag feedback in them so that I can find them easily. And if you have any feedback whatsoever, if you think a section sucks, if you think it's really good, if you think something needs to be added or removed, I'm open to all the feedback. And I do want to refine these more and get out of the draft stage. My goal is by the end of the year, I really want to have this out of the draft stage. So to do that, I need some feedback. Obviously, I'm going to add these last couple pages over the next few days as you guys kind of read through the docs. And then Eric is doing some Zeely quests related to the docs. So we'll announce those when the time comes. But if you guys want to go see them, I will drop the link in the Threadcast for you to head over to. It is docs.inleo.io. So pretty easy to get to. And if you go there, you'll see the current rough draft of the docs. And by the way, I was just typing this thread and I realized that we added a feature that Eric was asking for, which is now you can type a thread and then hit Control Enter and it'll post it. So
That's
that is live.
Greatest news ever. Like I am the type of person that really hates using the mouse. So I try to do all the shift, the cursor, like try to move only with the keyboard. So that's great news.
Yeah. So that just went live probably while we've been live on the air because I didn't notice it before when I was typing a thread. So docs are live. I just posted the link. It's docs.inleo.io. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm not going to be able to get through all of it. I think we've only got about 10-15 minutes left for this AMA, but there's a lot to unpack. I'm very open. If you have questions or anything, just like tag me in a thread and I'll reply. There's a big piece of kind of news drop in the tokenomics section. So I'll let you guys kind of read through that and decide, how you feel about that. And, obviously I think we're headed in the direction of LeoDAO and having votes for things like this. But this is the vision for the tokenomics. And it's been something that people ask about a lot. And I always had some variant of this in the white book. And then obviously it was updated a little bit over the past, kind of 2 years as things have evolved. And obviously we've moved in the direction of Project Blank and threads. It feels funny to say Project Blank after 2 years of saying Project Blank and it not being a thing. Now it's a thing. So it's fun to say that. And the tokenomics are really fascinating to me. I think we've done something really cool here with how we're moving forward. This was kind of roughly the plan, from the beginning. If you go back to the early blog posts of actually when we were Steam Leo, if you go back to some of those blog posts, you'll see, you'll see a lot of familiarity to the docs from those posts. And I think this just makes it really clear. It just lays everything out in a really clear, concise way that's easy to understand. So I'm really excited about it. It has some key terminology, system income, obviously the token supplies, the inflation rate of Leo, these are questions that people have had and asked for a really long time. And I think probably one of the biggest, pain points for people who have wanted to buy the Leo token or do anything with the Leo token, and Eric and I have had, a lot of various pitch meetings and other things with influencers and also people who invest in cryptocurrencies and just people in general who are kind of more outside of Hive perspective. And one of the biggest things that we saw was they would ask about the tokenomics and feel like it wasn't very clear how the tokenomics worked now and in the future, how the inflation rate worked and stuff like that. So the docs, I think the docs lay it out in a very clear format so that you can understand it very easily. It also talks about the phase out of inflationary Leo rewards. Obviously, that doesn't come for a long time, and you'll see it in there. But go through it. Let me know what you think. I'm very open to feedback in general, just on the docs and how I can improve it. So, like I said, first draft, pay attention to the top 80% before you move below it. Most of the pages below it are locked anyways until I'm ready to release those. But like I said, by say January 1st, 2024, I want to have the docs ready to the point where like I'm ready to share it outside of our community. So like right now I'm sharing it with you guys for your feedback. But I would say after January 1st, I want to be like, or if whether you guys or I am talking to somebody about Leo, I want it to be here. You can go to docs.inleo.io and learn more about it. And it's fully ready for the outside world to start reading.
I just want to mention that it's like in the cryptocurrency space, it's pretty common to see, okay, so we have a team and that team makes the decisions, and if the community likes them, then they signal bullishness. If they don't like it, they sell or they leave or whatever. But right now, what we are asking from you, from the community, from the 130 people who are here, thank you very much. Go check the documentation, give us your feedback. We are open to any kind of criticism. Make a post, make a thread, tag it feedback, send us a DM, however you prefer. As much feedback as we can get, the better we can build a product and a working UI and working tokenomics and keep the community as solid and strong as we are right now. We are the UI might make it seem like we are a small community compared to, let's say, Instagram or X or whatever. But as a crypto community, we are a lot of people, and these people have been growing month after month. We are probably going to close this year with 2,000 users. So yeah, just get involved, guys. It means a lot if you actually give us your feedback and tell us, hey, maybe I don't like this, maybe this could be better. But I mean, just try to do it in a nice way, or in a, what's the word, polite way. We're here to keep building. So just go read them. I mean, if you're investing here, and if you have time and money in Leo, go read those documents.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Feedback is really everything. I think you guys know that we operate very heavily on feedback for everything, including, whether it's development or docs or anything like that. It's always been very heavily feedback oriented. So I'm kind of always, and you'll see that actually in the docs, the roadmap section in there is very high level. It doesn't go into the details of like, oh, we're releasing this feature, on this date. It's not. I think there are a lot of roadmaps out there that are like that, but the roadmap for us, and I've always struggled with releasing roadmaps because I'm a very, evolve with the times type of person. I mean, look at how Steam Leo started compared to what we have today. I mean, it's completely different. And the vision is at a high level the same, but it's at a detailed granular level very different than what we started with. So that as that vision evolves, as we receive feedback, that roadmap evolves with it. So you'll see in the roadmap, it's very high level. It's like there's a section there called Leo AI, and it talks about how we're building an AI engine that reads all the threads and posts on the UI and feeds it into a vector space so that you can chat with an AI model about the things that are being said on Leo. So, it talks about that, and it says it's going to be released sometime in 2024, but outside of that, it doesn't give much more detail than that. And that's kind of how the whole roadmap is. It's just that very high level, like these are the ultimate things that we're headed towards. But obviously the details of each one can change with time and with feedback. I think actually at the beginning, it even talks about, feedback and how roadmap is. And my general description of the roadmap is that it's a compass. It's not a map. So, I guess road compass doesn't sound very good, but it is a compass on the direction we're headed in, but it is not a map telling you exactly what we're doing to get there. It tells you very roughly kind of what's going on, but that's how I like to operate. I don't want to have a roadmap where we're constantly changing everything. And I just think it's like a whole extra side job for me to have to like constantly update that roadmap. So instead, I just left it very high level: Leo AI, Leo Premium, Leo subscriptions, and it just gives you that very broad view of directionally what things are headed towards. Speaking of a roadmap, Tokenized Society asked, I know some L2 tribes are working on their own reputation system. What about INLEO? Is that on the radar? I've talked about reputation systems a few times in the past, and it is on the roadmap for the future, which is I have an idea for an engagement score as opposed to a reputation score. And that engagement score would have like real-time deterioration, so that, if you're heavily engaged and heavily using the platform on a day-to-day basis, your score should be a lot higher than someone who's like was active a year ago, but is no longer active, or was active a year ago and is now active, once a week or once a month. I think your score should be deteriorating over time, and you have up your engagement in order to keep a high score. So I've long been a proponent of stuff like that. And it is on the roadmap for us to develop. And then, maybe we'll create an API for it. I've wanted to do that for a couple different things. Create an API for it that other Hive UIs can tap into. And maybe we can just do away with the whole reputation score system, because I think all of us can agree that it doesn't really tell you a whole lot. It mostly just tells you who's been around for a long time, who's been on certain upvote trails. It's a very archaic system for scoring people based on the value they bring to the platform. So I think a couple different metrics for that would be like impressions. How many comments are you leaving? How many comments are being left for you? How many upvotes are you giving out? How many blog posts do you post? Average score of your voting power. Have you delegated out to other people? Like, there's so many different metrics we have on the Hive blockchain that are not being leveraged. And we can easily use all these metrics to create a much better engagement score and much better just platform in general. I mean, like, you look at the For You page, and I know that it's not great, and we've been tweaking and improving it, but what it's doing is scraping data from the Hive blockchain and using it to crowd. So that's the direction we're headed in a lot of different ways, is using data from Hive, because we have a lot of data, and using it to make the platform better and the ecosystem better.
Yeah, and speaking about custom things in the Leo ecosystem, when LeoNode?
Yeah, good question. And this might be, maybe we'll do like a couple rapid fire questions, because I got to jump in a few. LeoNode, so I just got an update from the dev. Let's see what he said. I will just read it for you guys so you know. We are currently syncing blocks, and we're at November 4th right now in terms of block sync. November 4th. So the ETA is about 19 hours until LeoNode is fully synced. And once it's synced up, we have to tweak a few things, but that shouldn't take long. We already have all the updates ready. We just need it to sync before we can deploy them. And then we are going to switch over the UI from what we currently have right now to the LeoNode fully. And I believe it's going to fix. I mean, you guys are in the Threadcast right now. I'm in it too. It's not working perfectly because the nodes are just overloaded from us. We're getting rate limited left and right. So our current setup is that we have a load bank. All 8 major Hive nodes on the Hive blockchain, and we basically split all of our activities to each of these nodes. And even though we've been splitting them, we're still getting rate limited because there's so much activity, so many upvotes, so many posts, so many comments and threads that are getting shot back and forth between us and the nodes that we keep getting rate limited on every single node. So if you guys remember, there was a period of time where the activity on Leo really spiked, and then we had a couple of days of like really poor performance, and then we released an update, and then everything got super fast. That update was when we switched over from using 1 or 2 nodes to using all of the nodes and load balancing. So we implemented that load balancer, but now we've outgrown that too. So we've scaled beyond that capacity. And I know Eric has more of the real numbers, but the monthly active users are at an all-time high. Activity is basically at an all-time high in general. And, you know, obviously that creates a lot of friction on the UI because we don't have our own node architecture, you know, built specifically for threads. So Leo node very soon. I'm very hopeful we'll have it done by Friday. And I know I said that last week, but I didn't really account for the block syncing issue. So very hopeful by this Friday that we'll have it live, probably even sooner.
Yeah, what people don't really realize is that in order to actually run a node for Hive, you actually have to run the previous 7 years of data and have it available for you so that you can actually keep running the incoming data. So,
Yep.
I mean, we are at November 4. It's like we just need 40 more days, 45 more days of syncing, and we'll be ready. Um, I have a question from Edwin. How much Leo distribution enters the market each month? I think it's like 200,000. Maybe it's less.
Oh, just the big pool number.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at the docs because I'm also curious to see where I put it in there.
Yeah, but while Carl searches for this, remember that the ad revenue buys a chunk of Leo, premium buys a chunk of Leo. So even though there's some Leo coming into the market, we are powering up more than that amount. And also there's a lot of revenue funnels that actually push the tokenomics forward. So let's just wait for Carl to give us the hard number, but I don't think it's going to be more than what Elpud uh, pushes every month.
Yeah, it's well, you know, it's pretty crazy because just in the last few months we've implemented all the big kind of tokenomic changes. You know, with LeoAds, Leo Premium, and then also Leo.voter buying Leo. So the amount of Leo getting bought back per month now is, I think, about 220,000 Leo per month, just from LeoAds, Leo Premium, and Leo.voter, which I think is roughly right around the inflation rate. So I actually think Leo might be deflationary in the past like month or two, but I gotta pull up this. I gotta pull up this SQL poll to have the actual. I'm trying to get you like the actual number. Yeah, it's 2,190,240 Leo this year. And in the docs, it tells you the current emissions rate is 0.208 Leo per block. So that if you do 2.208 Leo per block, you get the 2.19 million figure. And like I said, you've got quick on-air math. You got 5,000 a day getting bought back by Leo.voter, which is 150,000 a month. And then you've got, I think, roughly 35,000 was bought back by LeoAds last month. So that brings you to 185,000. And then you've got Leo Premium, which I think is buying not quite as much yet, but 20,000 Leo. So you're at 205,000 Leo getting bought back every month by Leo Premium, LeoAds, and Leo.voter. And the current inflation rate is 2.19 million divided by 12, which is 182,000. So 2,000 roughly. And 205,000 Leo getting bought back. So Leo's actually been deflationary, I think, the past 2 months. But obviously, and Taskmaster would love to jump in on this, but being deflationary doesn't really mean shit. Obviously what matters is, do those buybacks continue? Does revenue continue to grow? Obviously at the current Leo price, it's a lot easier to buy 200,000 Leo per month than, if Leo goes to 25 cents and the revenue stays the same, then you're buying, 1/5 the amount of Leo that you can buy today. So that obviously is a factor as well. So I think it's good. I think the Leo price at this rate is solid. And I like kind of the current status of things. I like that these revenue mechanisms are buying back more Leo than is being created in the rewards pool each month. I think it's healthy for the economy to kind of run this way for a while, because we did run for so many years on kind of high inflation, low revenue. So it's nice to kind of get this lull period where we can kind of flip in everything and kind of clean up all that loose Leo that's out there. I think like over 84% of the supply is staked right now. So only 16% of Leo is actually liquid and available to buy, I think. So it's pretty wild. I do see that whenever the buys happen for LeoAds or anything, it does bump the price just a little bit. Kind of cool to see that over time. And like I said, I just kind of want to see things run the way they are for a little while, without too much disruption, in terms of, price action and whatnot. But we're at 2.19 million this year. And then in July 3rd, 2024 is when the next inflation drop happens. So it happens every year. It drops very slightly. And then we will drop to 2.08 million for that year, and then 1.9 the next year, and then 1.8, and then 1.7. So it keeps dropping every year, and you can go read about that in the docs. But Eric, do we have any closing stuff before I jump?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any new questions. But yeah, I mean, basically, as you can see, just read the documents, guys. It's going to like a lot of yeah, yeah. But in general, just don't take this what we're saying as law. Read it for yourself, get informed, make the decisions by yourself, and in the end, you can see that we're just building long term, and the plans are to be here for a while. Yeah, I mean, just next week we're gonna have a New Year's special. We're still defining the day, but we'll share it with you with enough beforehand. I don't even know how to say that, but yeah, we'll just let you know with a few days in advance, so you can join us. Bring your New Year's Eve glasses, bring your Santa hat if you believe in that, bring anything you want, bring a lot of questions, and yeah, we're gonna have a New Year's kind of celebration party stream, video space, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks, Eric, for co-hosting. I don't think we mentioned it earlier, but Mitch is out of town looking at some apartment buildings. So that's why he couldn't make it. But I believe he will be here for the end of year podcast. So we should see him soon. And I do think this is the last AMA of the year, but we'll see. Because it's probably the last AMA of the year. So, but we'll have obviously that other show. So won't be the last show of the year, but it's the last AMA. So thanks everybody for coming. Thanks, Eric, for stepping up to the plate, filling the cat's shoes for today. And we got a lot of releases this week with Leonode and everything else. So get ready for some big back-end updates that should improve a lot of the issues we've been facing. I'm excited for them. But we will see you guys soon. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Peace out.
See you guys.
See ya.